I'm Argyro Fasoura, and together with my life and business partner,
Andriy Pidopryhora.
We have built Argyro Properties, and this is our first block of flats. For blocks of flats and title split opportunities, and Andriy here, who is our main sourcer of the business, was contacting different agents, and it happened to be in Cheadle. So Cheadle is a conservation area, which means nicer buildings. It's also a commuter town, so we are 7 minutes away from the main train station, and it's only a 20-minute ride towards Manchester City. It's also got good schools, so if families want to live here, and traditionally it has benefited from Didsbury and other South Manchester areas.
Initially, I was speaking directly to the agents, and they told me about this opportunity before it hit the market. I tried to negotiate and make a deal, but the vendor wanted to test the market, see what other offers they can get, see what kind of interest they may sort of gauge. A few weeks later, after my initial offer, they put it on the market. They had a few offers, made an offer as well, and they picked our offer because the agents believe that our experience is more suitable for a project of this type, title splits. It's good that they were misadvertising it on the open market because they advertised it as one-bed flat, even though behind it was 3 flats, freehold, a basement, so much sort of bigger.
So the main strategy we're utilizing here is title splits. It is a block of 5 flats. 2 flats have already been split and have been purchased by leaseholders, but then the freehold had 3 flats. So we purchased the freehold of the property plus the 3 flats, which we have now completed upon, and it's 3 separate leaseholds. As Andriy mentioned, there is a basement, so that needs planning permission and all the shenanigans. We actually met with a planning consultant today, and our aim is to turn that into 1 or 2 flats. We'll see how it goes. We approached a friend of mine who we knew had capital aside and was interested in purchasing their own buy-to-let. So we sat down and we said, here's the deal, we're gonna need. By the end of the deal, once we finish with the conveyancing process, you'll get 1 flat and we'll get the other 2. Everything was agreed, they were happy with it, but then 2 weeks after, they came back to us and said, oh, I have second thoughts. And we thought, oh dear. Yeah. We said, okay, would you be willing to angel us the money and then you'll just get a set return and not have to deal with anything at all? And they've agreed, but it's just about sitting down with a person and understanding where they're coming from so that you're able to sort of tap in and sort of ease them up. As we have gained experience through property, we try to contain JV partnerships and angel finance instead, only because when we are in control of the company, it's easier to make certain decisions and also take upon the risk. But when a different person that's not involved in property at all is 50% or 50% owns the business, it's much harder on the financing side of things, unless obviously they can provide £1 million and then fantastic. But when bridging financing is involved, we found that it's easier to just get angel finance rather than JV.
So guys, we are on the ground floor. We have 2 flats that are not ours, so we're gonna go to the first floor and the second floor, which is the loft. It's an old Victorian building with very high ceilings, as you can probably see. So we are doing some cosmetic works here, mainly lick of paint, filling up some cracks, and that's pretty much it. We should be able to put it on the market for rental in a few days. You can see that the kitchen is in a pretty good condition. So the previous owners, they did a refurbishment a few years back, so that's why not much work is needed now. We were pretty quick to start the refurbishment. We bought it on Thursday night, like 5 p.m. We completed, and then Tuesday morning we started the works. So pretty quick turnaround. So we have a bathroom here. It's again in a decent condition, needs a few fixes here and there. The builder is going to do that. Just a few trims here and there, but just making it right, making small fixes. Everything is in a decent state now. We're going to just paint over the ceiling white and paint the walls, and we're pretty much done. Yeah. So this is flat 4. This one is in a medium condition. You'll see now. So the good thing is that it's been rewired quite recently, obviously to comply with the rental standards, but it's gonna need a good lick of paint, change of the floors, change of the doors, change of the bathroom. The kitchen probably is gonna stay as is. A few changes, but nothing too major. There's a bit of a weird setup that we're not gonna be able to change in this flat. The bathroom is here, so you have to come from the kitchen to the bathroom, which is not very usual. Here's a little bathroom. Currently there's a tiny bathtub, and for one bed flat, bathtub is not really needed, so a shower tray is gonna do. Over here is a bedroom. Definitely need to change the carpets here, the door, and there is a bit of thinking about skirting boards, but we may leave them as well. We'll see. The radiator probably is going. Here is a little lounge. Again, we're gonna need to change the floors. The door. There's two other big things, obviously the windows. They are all single glazing, so we'll need to change them, and we'll need to match the design as much as possible because it's a conservation area and you have to be consistent. So here's flat number 5. We have to be more mindful of our heads because the ceilings are quite low and there's quite a few eaves, especially me. With my 6'5" height, I need to be extra cautious. So here is the bedroom number 1 and currently the only one. You can see eaves, so the space is quite a bit limited. Everything is dated, everything needs updating. There's no heating system, so we would need to do some plumbing work. We are currently thinking about putting gas in, but there's an option to put electric heaters as well. Something to be decided in the next week or so. That is currently the kitchen, but we want to convert it into a second bedroom because there is enough floor space for this flat to be a 2-bed flat, and then the kitchen is going to be in the living room that I'll show you in a bit. Over here we have very dated bathroom, and over here we have our living room that's gonna have a kitchen as well because there is a decent amount of space. Ideally, we would want to put the kitchen on this side of the wall. It kind of makes sense design-wise, but our builder suggested that it's going to be easier to have the kitchen on this side plus a little bit there, just because the bathroom is here, so all of the water connections are nearby. A decision to be made soon. Worth mentioning that this flat has been rented for like 25 years to one tenant. The landlord kind of kept it under the wraps because electrics are super outdated. They're not up to the landlord regulations. No proper heating in the flat. There is no gas, or there's no like even electric heaters, just like the plug-in ones. So if obviously the landlord would lose the tenant, they wouldn't be able to rent this out without spending quite a significant amount to update it. And this is where we come in and we're gonna do the job. So we have a bit of a basement as well, because we are getting the freehold for the whole building, and basement is part of the deal as well. So I'll show you now. Here we are, basement. Here I think worth mentioning that it's quite sizable. There's about 100 square meters in it. Main concern is its conservation area, so things are a little bit more tricky with planning when there's conservation area, but we are hoping that we can bypass any concerns that the council might be raising. We have a little bit lower ceilings, so with my almost 2 meters height, it's not easy to be here. There are utilities here, and if we are to get the planning permission to convert this into flats, or a flat, we'll need to move the utilities somewhere else. As far as we know and based on what we've heard, it can be quite complicated and can take quite a bit of time. But again, it's a problem to solve when we come to it. Here's just plenty of room for the bins, for maybe even additional parking, for the tenants to leave their cars, and there is more car park space at the front. Here is the front of the building. There is plenty of space for maybe 4 or 5 cars as well. It's really nice location because there is bus stations, train stations nearby. You can get into the city center of Manchester within like 15-20 minutes using train, a bit longer with the bus. The airport is only like 5-10 minutes drive from here, so location-wise we are pretty good.
If any advice is to be given here, is that actually try and focus on the action that comes after it. So what do you need to do next, by when, who's gonna do it, and that tends to normally occupy your mind more than the problem itself.
You have to be prepared to, you maybe have your ideal plan A, but usually, based on our experience at least, it never goes to plan A. So you have to prepare plan B, plan C, plan D. Sometimes you have to go to plan Z. But just having those backup have plans lined up, it's always good, because then when the plan A doesn't work, you feel less harmed about it's so bad, because you know that you have some other solutions lined up that you can work with. So that's pretty important. And then trying to see every challenge as an opportunity to kind of level up. Those challenges are kind of preparing you for bigger stuff, because in property there's problems after problems, and one option is to just be like, it's just too much. It's like nothing goes to plan, so I would even bother. Having that mindset where problems are actually good for your development, that helped us quite a bit, because initially it felt a bit too much, especially if you're running your own business. It can get overwhelming, but changing that mindset can help.
So this was our first title split project that we've completed on, and we have 2 more in the pipeline. So it was a huge learning curve for us. It takes more time than you've accounted for. We started negotiating this deal in February 2025, and we've only completed in August 2025. The second one, which is a really basic one, but obviously you don't know what you don't know unless you encounter it, is that for every lease that you're creating, you need drawings. And that wasn't so much of an issue here with this property because it was empty, but it does stack up when you've got a block of flat 6 and you have to arrange all these different viewings and get tenants to sign up to that. So really do take account of how many visits are going to have to happen within a property, because we had access issues. As I said, not with this property, but it is an issue with title splits because it just needs more visits than your normal project.
Persistence, yeah. We had the seller pulling out at some point. They were out for 3 weeks, and apparently their solicitor was the gatekeeper sort of thing, and they didn't believe that the seller should be selling it for the amount of money that she was selling it. So they kind of convinced her not to. So then I had to find the details of the solicitor. His phone number.
He went into their office
I
as well.
also went to their office to meet them. And I had a long conversation with him, sent some emails to convince him that, okay, like actually the price that we agreed is quite reasonable and it's what somebody should be paying. And once I convinced the solicitor went back to the seller and convinced them that actually get back to the table of negotiation, and she came back. But yeah, keeping the persistence, keep pushing, keep looking for your plan B's and C's until the solution is found, until the door is open. Thanks a lot for coming, guys, and we are looking forward to having you back for the second part. And if you want to give us a follow on Unrow Properties, at Unrow Properties, you'll see more content about this building and other projects that we do. Thanks a lot. See you next time.